Hello and welcome back to Tuesday's vlog. I hope everybody's had a fantastic weekend. I must say we've had a really good weekend, but it's been really hot. Now, I know I sound like one of these typical complainers. When it's too cold, it's too cold. When it's too hot, it's too hot. This is Tuesday. It's 24 degrees at 9 o'clock in the morning. Yesterday, though, the temperature hit 33, 34 degrees in places, and it just never give up, did it? And you guys down south, I think you have had it even hotter than us. I like the hot weather, guys, don't get us wrong. I really don't. I love going on holiday, but when I'm sat at the pool, nice cold pool, a beer, in an air-conditioned room to go to sleep in at night, happy days. But when we're here, last night was unbearable in bed. I don't know how much sleep any of you guys got, but I could honestly had to have the fan on most of the night, but I can't cope, especially sleeping in the heat. So yeah, it's been a good weekend, and I'm getting another project. And it was unbearable the heat yesterday, and I decided to go out for a 2 or 3 hour jaunt in the Mercedes, because the aircon in that thing is beautiful. I thought, well, I hope you've all enjoyed that Croft video that I did, met Tiff Adele. I have actually got photos of, if any of you guys aren't aware, I have a Facebook channel, Cardiff Garage Northeast channel Facebook page. I don't use it that much, but what I do is I just upload the odd few pictures and the odd few bits that is pointless putting on YouTube, like mainly photographs. So if any of you are on Facebook, just head over to Cardiff Garage Northeast. I can't be many on there. You'll see me logo. Just join the group, and you'll see that chat I got Max Coates. Me and Charlie and Max Coates got a photograph, and also Charlie got a photograph with Tiff Adele. It was that hectic. I was really dying to get a picture of myself, because Charlie obviously doesn't really know of Tiff Adele, but he was my childhood person I watched on the TV. You know, we all watched it, Fifth Gear, Top Gear, and he did countless other car related programs and race driving things. In fact, he still is on Fifth Gear, which is now on YouTube to this day. So yeah, anyways, I went out yesterday purely to cool off in the car. Holly finished work at 2 o'clock, and I said, right, I'm away out. I'm going to go out for a jaunt. I want some fuel in my car, because I'm going to the Festival of the Unexceptional, which I'll be doing some recording on, not this weekend coming, because it's caravan weekend, but the weekend after. It's going to be a long day for me, so I've decided what I'm going to do is head down to my pal, to Chris at Middlesbrough, stop at his overnight on the Friday, and set off on Saturday morning, because we're leaving at 6:30, and for me to be at Middlesbrough for 6:30, it's going to be insane. And then travel all the way down there, have the day there, travel all the way back, and then have to get in my car and drive all the way back. It's going to be too much, far too much for one day. So anyways, I wanted fuel in the C-Class, so it's full for when because this weekend I'm in the caravan coming. So did that, went out, put fuel in, and I had my eye on, this is the only clue I'm going to give you guys, I'm getting a new project. It's a Ford van. That's all I'm saying. It's a Ford van. I'm not going to tell you which type or which one, but that's it. Have a guess. I'm going to hopefully pick that up today. I bought and paid for it. And then obviously, so I went to look at that, bought it, but had to leave it where it was, because I was on my own. Went across Costco, put my fuel in, got some supplies for the caravan, and the van I bought looks a bit scuffy because of the wheels that's on it. I think somebody in the past has had a set of alloy wheels on it, and when the deal's been done and they're getting rid of it, which I'll go for the full story of it, they've just banged on a flipping mixed match of God knows what. I think the back wheels on it are original Fords, and the front ones are off some kind of other van. It just looks a bit naff. So on my way home from doing this, I went out and bought some wheels. So that's another part of the project which I've got to do. So that's been my kind of time out, but it was an enjoyable time out, because I actually had to cool off in the car, and by God, it was nice. But it was like when you go on holiday. I'd been sitting in the car with the air conditioner on, when I opened the door, poof, it's just been like hit in the face by the flipping ball of heat when you open the door. It was unreal. I don't know what it was like down south. It must have been worse than here. But yeah, anyways, so pleased that I was off yesterday, got the new project, and now I'm back to work today. I think things are going to cool off a little bit more, thank goodness. I like the heat, but not this hot, especially when we're going in the caravan next week. It'll be unbearable. So anyways, on to what's in. What we've got in is this Safira. Keep it short today, because I've done a bit of blab on there, which has gone to 5 minutes, but I thought I would have a bit of interaction with you guys, just to let you know what I've been up to, asking what you guys have been up to. Got this Safira in. I think it's in for an MOT or something. I'll need to check the diary actually, but it is what it is. Just a 1600 petrol Safira. And the other thing we've got in is a Mercedes, what is it? B-Class, with, you've guessed it, the K9K 1.5 DCI Renault engine. I just thought I'd show you underneath these things. They're not too bad actually. We've done quite a few springs on them, as you've seen on that other one. No bother to change, so in my opinion, not a bad job. Electric calipers, yet to do one on one of these, but they seem to be quite alright on these models compared to the Volkswagens. And looking on the chassis of this car, I don't know if the guy who owns this garages it, I don't think he does anymore, but it's actually in really good nick. 'Cause it isn't that new. I think it's like a, I don't know, it's like a 13 plate maybe, 14. But I'm looking up here, it's like brand new. Does David garage this, does he? He puts it in the garage. Just shows you what putting it in the garage does, mind. I mean, these Renault, like I'm saying Renault Mercedes because it has got the Renault engine. I must admit, these versions of Mercedes aren't bad for rotting. They are on these subframes, mind. Terrible. They've got a very bad reputation for these subframes rotting and actually tearing. So be very careful buying any of the new Mercedes A-Class and B-Class. Back subframes are a nightmare on them and very expensive. But no, that just goes to show you, doesn't it? Like brand new, that is. So yeah, this is just in for MOT and service. But again, I just wanted to show you this device. High and low pressure EGR valve systems, which means you've got an electronic flap in the exhaust which closes to increase the flow pressure. But you can just see where expense comes there. An electronic sensor on a hot exhaust, the exhaust damages or starts to blow up there, and then, or it's damaged here, and then like it's welded in, you see. You can't just unbolt it. Big expense in years to come. But all this typical cheap, chatty plastic, what they're putting on cars nowadays, it's just, you know, you can't avoid it. It doesn't matter what you're buying, it's there and everything. So I'm just going to pause it there now, bring it down, I'll show you what's under the bonnet. Yeah, so there we go. You'll notice the lights are on these. These modern cars are very, very annoying. The lights are off. The ignition is clearly off to the point of where it needs to be on a lift. And they carry on just to have lights on. Vauxhall and Fords are terrible for this. Unless you physically pull the keys out or lock it or something, they will not go off. But when it's on a lift, you need to be able. You don't want the steering lock on. If they're an automatic like this one is, you don't want it in park because you need to push it back and forwards to line it on the lift. Luckily, these are LED on this car, so they won't flatten the battery. But you tend to find if you get an older car, it can flatten the battery if you're working long periods of time on them. So just thought this is something we've got to deal with on a daily basis. On that note of lights, it's got the Mercedes Bison on. I do like the fact the right thing's inside the light. And also, it's got the sport brake package, the drilled brakes. Not that I don't really think you need that with an automatic 1500 DCI Renault engine like, but that's the specs. If that's what you're specking, that's what you get. But one thing I'm a little bit annoyed about and angry with Mercedes. Now, as we know, this is the K9K engine. It's in lots of things. Nissan put it in, all sorts. We know that. That's fair enough. But at least with Nissan, they don't try to hide it. They have like a battery and it's stamped on Renault Nissan. Or you'll pull the cover off like I've shown you guys. In the past, I'll say, oh look, there's a Ford badge, or there's a Citroen badge, or there's whatever. But Mercedes have been very sly here. Now they put this engine in, and I've had a little look. I know where they print the Renault badges, and they've removed everything, and they've put little bits. See that there? Mercedes, and as anywhere else I've seen something before. I was looking around anyways, and everywhere where there's a Renault mark, in which there would have been here, they've removed it. There's this unit down here, there's normally Renault on, they've removed it. Now, that's sly. Now, to deliberately hide everything and put Mercedes badges like that on it, that's more below the belt, I think. I think if they're just open and honest, and you pull this engine cover off and there's Renault stamped on here or something, which we all know that it is, that's fair enough. But they've gone to that next port, I think, of trying to cover something up and deliberately, purposely lie to people and mislead people. You know, so I'm not too happy with that. All of this is, as you know, Renault, I mean, if the oil filter box is in the bin, it's all exactly the same parts. I know that, I can tell you 100%. But yeah, that's what you're buying for a lot of money. And I'm not calling this engine. It's actually one of the best diesel engines made in the last 20 years. It's up there in the top 5. But why not just be honest? Why not just leave the Renault stickers on? God knows. The way they get around that is a multi-million-pound legal team to do what they want. It's basically, there's absolutely no rules with it when it seems to be when it comes to manufacturers and getting things approved. They're multi-billion pound companies that can do what they want, and obviously it wouldn't be happening if it wasn't legal. So, but it's us lot who go out and buy a Mercedes. If you don't know nothing about a car, and I must say this car looks nice, it's a lovely colour. And I'm not going to lie, when they first come out, I said, do you know what? They look nice, especially I think this has got that nice type of grille on the front. No, it hasn't, I'm just imagining that. But you'll know what I'm talking about, the ones with the, like little dots on them. I genuinely said they look like a nice MPV. And I wouldn't have known it was a Renault engine unless if I wasn't a mechanic. I don't think anybody would. So, yeah, that's just that. I thought I'd add that in. I don't know what the Safira... What's that, Safira in for? MOT or something? Or? Yeah. So that's just MOT. I'm not going to really film that. It's just Safira. If there's anything out the ordinary on it, I will. But I don't think there will be on it. Fingers crossed. So, yeah. One other little clue I'll give you. What I've bought... It needs diesel in, so it's a diesel. It's a Ford diesel van. It's the only clue I'm giving you. I'm not going to say how old it is, how big it is, whatever, but it's just a Ford diesel van. The only thing is, I've got a feeling I'm giving you these clues now, and I think I'll have probably already done a reveal of it. But then again, I've got a very busy week, so I probably won't have. I might just leave this until Friday and do the actual reveal when I'm away on the weekend, pre-recorded. So I'll catch you guys on tomorrow's video. On Tuesday, I'm lost what day it is. On Wednesday, the only other thing I am doing today is bringing the Mercedes here for the MOT tomorrow, the ML. And I'm taking my C-Class, which I'm not going to put into a separate vlog, across for another rear tyre, so they're matching. It is, my OCD can't stand that. It's only 70 quid for a new tyre to match the brand new one on the right-hand side. So I've got two new matching rear tyres. So I'm going over to Stakeford Tyres for that. First, I'm going to go home, take the Mercedes over, new tyre, get some fuel in that can, go back home, get the Mercedes ML and bring that back here, so it's here to MOT tomorrow evening. So I'll catch you soon. Bye. I thought I would add this bit into the weekly vlog, as it is work, it is car related. As I've mentioned, on my C-Class, the two back tyres didn't match, which did me head in how the way it looked, and secondly, the other tyre was getting perished and worn. So I'll just show you, I'm getting that done, a few developments going on here. So I've just washed the wheels. You wouldn't think I just washed those wheels no more than 2 minutes ago, and the drive was full of water. Nothing. So obviously they've got two matching front tyres. They're not my favourite Lassas, but they're brand new, and for how I drive they'll do the job, and I've cleaned the rims up nicely. But on the back here, these are really hard sized tyres to get, 2, 4, 5, 40, 17s. And what used to be gin new at the other side, which I'll show you, what used to be gin new, as you can see, all the patterns and everything's exactly the same, but they used to be called a Ginu, and then a few years ago they changed their name to Rodex, which I showed you on the Seat. And before anybody yaps about, oh, ditch finders, these tyres are absolutely fantastic. We've run these for over 5 years on our works vehicle and had absolutely no problems whatsoever. But the main point is this view here. While I get onto my hands in these, so to speak, now the tread pattern matches perfectly, and when you stand behind this car you really can see the back tyres. I know it sounds really sad, but I just think it's nice to have matching back tyres, you know. It only cost us 70 quid. The tyre was getting a bit worn anyways. The two front ones are brand new, the one at the right hand side was brand new, so common sense really says have two matching back tyres. Rear wheel drive car, they're quite short and stumpy as well, which makes them very snatchy on the back end, so I want really good grip on the back, plus for the winter as well. Anyways, on to other things that are going on. The ML, as you can see, it's moved. I'm taking that to work. That's getting MOT tomorrow. It's not due tomorrow, but the earliest date I can MOT it, anniversary dates, I'll give you a little bit of info on that. I'll just come around here into the breeze where there's some air. Obviously, see, your car's due MOT on the 1st of July. You normally would be able to MOT it on the last day of the month before, or let's put it a better way, say it's due on the 10th of July for instance, you'd be able to take it in the day after, usually about the 11th of June, and you effectively get 13 months. I'm not particularly that desperate to test this car, but this weekend, this Friday, we're going up to Morpeth with the caravan, so away all weekend. We've got that week, then after that week we're away another full week in Powburn, so I just want the car to have a fresh MOT for going away. I don't know if any police do checks on reg numbers, just looks better like you've got a full MOT rather than a couple of days. So this will be getting tested tomorrow. As I've mentioned, the horn, one of the horns stopped working, it's got new horns, everything's pretty much sorted on this car. Like I mentioned, new project, we're picking that up tonight. I'm going to have to be careful not to get that in the videos, but I've got me jerry can because it's got hardly any diesel in and it's in quite a busy city centre area. So I'm going to, I've actually already put a little bit of additive in there which I had sitting about for older diesels. No, it's not an old vehicle, before anybody picks up any clues. So I'm going to go and, I used to be able to fill this can for less than 15 quid. I bet you it'll be more than 20 quid now. I'm going to fill that, just put some diesel in to get us home. And as well as the ML, so I'm going to the petrol station now because I want this filled up ready for when we go away to Morpeth. So yeah, just thought I would do a little bit of a update what's going on here. Obviously I'll get back to you when I'm back in the garage tomorrow when we get the Mercedes MOT'd. So I'll catch you soon. Welcome back, quick update on Tuesday. I didn't want to do much filming the day and it's kind of ran on other bits. I did get asked a question off a couple of my viewers about why are you not using the Landguard? Well, there's a couple of reasons, like as in all the time. Number one is I give my customers a choice whether or not they want to use wax oil or they want to use Landguard. Naturally, we've been using wax oil for years and years and years, so I don't expect that just to suddenly go no. Second of all, even though on the Landguard packaging it says you can put it over existing treatments, I'm not 100% convinced that putting Landguard over the top of wax oil is really going to be effective. So that's just to answer it. Well, I have actually, I've got it in the back of the car. We have ordered it. I've got all the full kit in, and I will be starting to use it. In there, there's a 5 litre can of it. I've got all the applicators. I've got all the information as well. I've got pamphlets and information which we'll go through with everybody. But most people, if you know about it, it's a fantastic product. Far better, I would say, than wax oil in many ways, but I'm not going to totally disregard it because a lot of customers want wax oil fitted, simple as that. Number two, I'm not going to put Landguard over the top of wax oil because I feel then you're getting a bit of a mix. It's not like a fair protection. And the other reason purely is we've got quite a bit of it to use as well. So I'm not just going to suddenly just not use it anymore. But I do tend to find when this car's been done, again, yet another Yaris. Hence we do promote Toyotas a lot, as you've seen. That's how many? 3 Yarises, I think, in a week. But this car was done with wax oil, as you can see, probably about a year, maybe 2 years ago. So I don't see the point in putting Landguard over the top of wax oil because it's not going into the metal. All it's going to do is sit on top of it. So you're better off using the same product to sit on top of the same product. So I just thought I would put that one in there. And like I mentioned, there's the ML ready for MOT. And I just thought I'd put this bit in. How much do you think it cost to fill that can with diesel? Not even brimmed either. £23. I swear to God I used to struggle to get about 12 quid into that last time I used it. So there you go. I'm getting my eyes ripped out. So I'll catch you tomorrow on Wednesday's vlog. Hello and welcome to Wednesday's vlog. Not a great deal in today, so we got most of it out the way with yesterday. A lot went on behind the scenes, so thankfully it took the pressure off the day. What there is in today, there's a little C3 coming in for a pre-MOT, which we don't hold a great deal of hope for. So that's to be checked. Also, when I get 5 minutes, I'm on MOT the Merc, get that done, because like I've mentioned, we're away on Friday in the caravan, and then the week after we're away a whole week. So I just want a fresh MOT on it. It's due shortly anyways. It's within, like I was mentioning to you about the anniversary date, like today is the earliest it can be MOT'd, so effectively when I MOT it the day, it'll have 13-month MOT, because you keep your remaining month. So I've been through, done all the pre-MOT checks, which I've showed you time and time before. All the lights, the wipers, the tyres are fine, etc, levels, and I already know everything's fine underneath. What else we've got in? This BMW, it's one of my, well, a friend and a guy who lives in my estate, watches the channel, so thanks for that. He always brings his car, and I tell you what, this guy keeps his car spotless. Every one of the cars he's had, he keeps them really, really nice. It's quite pleasant when people actually bring that car in in a state where it's not a health hazard. So yeah, this is quite a nice spec one. It's like the M Sport pack that they do. I'm not massively big on BMWs, but obviously they've got, it's like the M whatever it is, but they've got the advanced LED headlights in this one. They're super bright at night, they really are. Cracking headlights on them. And it's the 120i, but that's BMW with their usual tricks of playing games, which they've done for years. It's the 1600 Prince engine in it, but it's called the 120i because they fit like a twin turbo on them. And they really do go well, actually, with this engine. It's the same engine what's in the Mini Cooper S. Obviously, the Citroen and Peugeots. Yeah, I know, like I say, I had a Renault in the other day. Yesterday. Had the Renault in. Didn't have a Renault in. It was a Mercedes-Benz in with a Renault engine. And today we've got a BMW in with a Citroen engine. You guys probably don't believe that, but honestly, it's true. So just be careful when you're buying a vehicle that you're actually getting what you're paying for, so to speak, and a lot of people don't realise this. But in fairness, this car hasn't been a great deal of bother for the guy. He looks after it well, and I think if you look after something, it doesn't really matter too much. You can have, you know, so if you're going to look after an engine, that's fine. You tend to find all the people who give negative and bad reports about a particular engine or a car are the ones where you're buying a used and abused second-hand one, and that's not what you want. And so, you know, if you service like to these engines well, the Prince engine, I've seen them do all right mileage. You know, it's just if you're going to neglect them and not service them and drive them hard, then yeah, you will get problems. But I think that's the same across the board for any vehicle, any car. So it's not. I personally would buy a car with any engine in me. It doesn't bother us. Like these, for example, W163, when they were brand new, they were at the bottom of the line of about 100 vehicles as one of the worst vehicles built, one of the most unreliable vehicles. And touch wood, it's been okay, you know. So it's one of those things. If you look after something, it's fine. So what we're on with this today is a service. Oil and what it is. These Prince engines suffer badly with oil clogging and oil kind of sludges up. So I don't often do this, but I am with this one. I put an engine flush in, just a Wins one. To be honest, the old trick to do with this is just to add half a pint of regular diesel, but naturally I would do that on an old car, which is my own. But to cover things for a customer, you've got to obviously use an approved product. So that's in there now, hence the engine's running. We're going to let that run for 30 minutes. Drain it out, got the new filter ready to go on, done an air filter on it. I'm going to ask him if he wants the pollen filter done. It's there if he wants it. I just can't remember if we discussed doing it. And also I'm on with the usual resetting everything, as you can see. So I'm just doing that. We'll go through vehicle check. There's 49% reset. So all these BMWs have this on the computer, you see. And that'll be resetting that. Then I just need to change the date. There we go. That's down now. Vehicle check 99%. It won't go 100% because your brakes are partly worn. And you just need to change that date on there. Because obviously on these BMWs you have all this on a screen inside the car. On there. So you can see it on that. So really that's it. It's been up on the lift. Checked it over. Oh sorry, this is for MOT as well. It's all been checked. But as you can see, guy keeps everything right. You know, he's got the proper Michelin Pilot Sport 4s on the back. It's just nice to get a car in that you know has been looked after, and it makes so much difference. You just know when you get it up on the lift, it's not going to be falling to bits and stuff like that. It does make a big difference when you get people coming in who actually look after their cars. As a mechanic, I should be saying the opposite. I like getting cars coming in that are smashed to bits because we can make a fortune on it. But I don't take pride in really taking money off people for non-essential stuff. But it is nice just to get nice cars in. They're nice and clean on the interior and the exterior. It's just nicer to work on. Like, you know, working on new cars, like these MOT testers who test new cars every day. They don't even know they're flipping born. You know what I mean? Like, you try testing rotten old Transit vans every day and God knows what, and you're having to print off a failure sheet with about 5 pages on. That doesn't have to take time out your day. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's really it for the day. I'm not going to put a great deal else in unless that C3 is absolutely falling to bits. When I do this pre-check on it, I'll include that. But for now, I'll catch you on tomorrow's vlog on Thursday. But bearing in mind, I'll be moving the caravan tomorrow night. No, sorry, tomorrow morning. So I might be in late and miss some recording. And Friday morning, I'm taking the caravan up to Morpeth. So that this might be a short one this week. That's why I put quite a bit of content in yesterday. And I have been getting my new project, by the way. So I don't know when I'll be releasing that, but the only clues I'm giving you is it's a Ford van. That's it. So I'll catch you soon. Bye. Hello and welcome back to Thursday's vlog. Like I've mentioned this morning, I've been on moving the caravan, so that's all hooked up ready. I don't know if I cut in yesterday, I can't remember if I did, but I MOT'd the Mercedes, the ML, that's through its test, no bother. Walked through the emissions, basically like better than brand new cars. So yeah, they get on about gas guzzlers, but I'm telling you, these big petrol engines are, as long as they've got the original catalytic converters on, they're very, very clean. I mean, basically, these cars have like super kind of reinforced cats on them. That's why they get nicked so much. So this whole thing, when you think, you know, you're behind these little cars, which are 20 and 30 pound a year road tax, and they're blasting out all that smoke, it's a bit of a money-making scam, really. Especially when you look at it in the sense of me with this Mercedes, how often I use it, it's probably polluting less than a little 1 litre EcoBoost getting used every single day, you know? So, yeah, but that's done, that's MOT'd, finished with. Like, I'm just recapping here. The C-Class, I got the new tyre on, which I recorded, I think, on one of my previous videos. That's done. Today, it's going in to get an air conditioning service. Yes, we've got our own gas here and everything. But this system on the Mercedes, you've seen these green cans here. They hold about 500 grams. In this Mercedes, from empty, I think holds nearly a kilo, like 1,000 grams. So, A, there's no point in doing it. B, it's working. But all I want to do is get it serviced because there's like an oil in it. It's a bit like this stuff here, actually. This is like it's like a kind of like a thick gloopy oil that goes in, but it's like green, like that colour. It's called PAG, P-A-G. And that it's just like an engine, really. A compressor for your air conditioning. It's just got like little pistons, usually between 3 and 4 pistons that go slide up and down. So obviously they've got seals and stuff like that. So it's a good idea, even if your air conditioning is working. Obviously you get the gas recovered out, the old oil recovered out, and then you get new oil injected in, and then the right amount of gas. I mean, for example, it's interesting to see, there might be, you know, it does leak over time, naturally, when there's nothing wrong with them. It's totally normal. You never know, there might only be 700 go out, then there's 1,000 goes back in with new oil. So it is worth getting your air conditioning serviced. I wouldn't say every year, but every couple of years, it's good practice. So that's getting done. I'm not going to talk too much about the new projects. I've got some stuff behind this because I'm not sure if I'll have the reveal video released before this, and I have to be careful what I've said earlier on this week to see if I've kind of given it away. So we'll see. Luckily it isn't here the day, so I'll not catch it on film. So yeah, that's just a bit of a recap, because purely tomorrow, first thing tomorrow morning, sorry, my nose is going bad with the hay fever. First thing tomorrow morning, I'm taking the caravan over to Morpeth, hitching it up and come back to work. And obviously we'll go for dinner on Friday, so there's going to be a little bit of a delay for recording, and I'm hoping getting it uploaded as well, because we're just getting new broadband at the garage. So I'm hoping that I can get it uploaded maybe early afternoon, so that I can really put it live on Saturday sometime, or even Friday evening. But once I'm over there, there's no chance I can upload an hour-long video over 4G. It just takes too long. So anyways, back to what's in today. We've got in this mocker. Lost what specs these things are even classed as now. SE. It's got the leather seats with the red stitching. It's quite nice interior, actually, in here. It ain't got many miles on, I don't think. It's got all the extras. I think it has, anyways. Yeah, heated seats. Heated steering wheel as well, and probably like the last place you would look for the button for it, you'd think it'd be on the steering wheel, but it isn't. It's hidden away in between the temperature button. So I wonder how many people have these and don't even realise they've got a heated steering wheel, because it's a button within a button. So yeah, I don't think this has got many miles on. Not 70 something. This had a problem with the tyre pressure monitoring on it. And you learn something every day, because I didn't actually realise that's how they worked. I thought they worked somehow off the ABS, which a lot of cars do. But the valves on these have a little sensor, obviously, inside the rim. And within that little sensor, there's a little battery. And I thought they would have invented an idea through, like, kind of, like, motion. like those watches you get by Motion, the charge up while they're moving. But on these, the sensors pack up because the little battery in them is only lasts so long, you know. So once the car gets to a certain age, you find the batteries in them die and they stop working. So you learn something every day with that. This it's in for MOT and a service. So we're going to be doing an oil and filter. I've already done the air filter, just topping up and checking the coolant, screen wash. Obviously it's got to go up on the lift to be checked, but we're not hoping there's really too much wrong with this. We've got this Transit Custom in, which is like exactly that, actually a custom one. It's got like the crew cab in, so the whole back end, I'll show you later, is like a storage bit for putting bikes and stuff, and it's like just a standard 5-seater, might be a 6-seater, sorry. I'll have to double check, I don't know if there's 3 seats in the front, but yeah, this is in for full service. I'll just show you what we're doing with this. I showed you one of these the other day, I think I did, so I'll not go into too much depth. So we've done the air filter. Fuel filters are quite expensive on these because they're now, like, you look at that and you think, oh, well, you've chucked away the housing. No, now it comes as one, you can't replace it. Good idea in a way, but wasteful in the other way. But you can see that's not overly clean. Supposedly being serviced by Ford, but we don't know, because they never fill out the books properly or tick the boxes or just write a simple little note at the bottom: oil, air, fuel, pollen. It really doesn't harm, and I can't understand why more places don't do that to help themselves mainly, and not anybody else. So that's that. New air, the oil filters have got a pollen filter to go onto it. Just to show you, obviously with these, like a lot of vehicles now, the sumps rot out, so spray paint the sump, new filter. Be careful with these, like I've already mentioned. If you have owned one of these or used them, this is one of the lowest points. If you go onto a low curb, you catch the bottom of these quite often, and you can punch out the oil filter. When you come to start up, you've wrecked your engine. So be careful. I think this is the 2-litre Eco Blue one, but the 2.2s, this filter sits even further down, where it becomes dangerous. But this is the wet belt carry-on. Terrible engine or what's in these, really. If nowadays, unless you can get a good warranty, be super careful and make sure that you've got a good warranty, and mainly use the correct oil, which is in here somewhere. I'll show you what I've got. It's unless it's been taken out, it should be in here, I think, but I don't know where that's gone. This is it here, and this is actually from Ford. Ford sell you this, and I like to get it from Ford with the receipt, but that's the proper numbers there. The M2C 950A 030. If you're a garage or a DIY mechanic, take my advice, please. Honestly, use this oil. If you don't use it, you'll get yourself into big problems with these things. As I've talked enough about wet belts, you know what they're about. Use the right oil, simple as that. So that's done. Like I've said, the air filter, fuel filter, pollen filter, etc, etc. I sprayed the sump, been round all the pipes, and I've already showed you on that other van. And nicely have this NOx sensor up here, which can be very problematic. I know you can get those mapped out, actually. And there's your AdBlue tank, and there's your huge, massive DPF up there, with all sorts of very expensive temperature sensors there, and you'll have your AdBlue injector somewhere further up. You don't think you can see it on these ones, can you, or can't you? Yep, just up there at the top, there's your AdBlue injector. I bet you that is fun to fit. And even from here, no, definitely not. Very awkward. But this is a very nice spec van, actually, when you get out. I'll show you it later. Huge fuel tank to the back. And with this being more of a passenger vehicle, the exhaust comes right out of the back, where if you noticed on the panel vans, the end of the exhaust here, because they're two different test regulations. Because this I think will be classed is a passenger vehicle, and the other one's obviously classed as a commercial panel van. And I think this has been done genuinely from Ford. It's not a Mickey Mouse job. It's a proper kind of it's not even a conversion. It's bought like that from Ford. There's your tow bar plug for your electrics, plug and play on this, so that'll save you wiring in. But yeah, I would advise to this customer with this van, if they're going to keep it long term, get some protection put underneath. Obviously we've greased all the pipes as we normally do, so there we go. I'll show you when I bring it down. It's got all sorts, folding mirrors, aircon, you name it. But I'll do that. I'll come back to you on a separate video once it's on the floor. Quick walk around the Transit. Like I said, I'll show you. It is like a good spec one. Like, it's got all the proper parking, factory fitted parking sensors at the front. You know, for electric folding mirrors. And like I've said, it's the proper crew cab one as well. Crew cab meaning it's actually like more like a family vehicle, to be honest. There's lots of space to, you know, to get in and out. 2 sliding doors. The whole back end is factory caged off with a little window there. Ideal for like the dogs, and no mess would come through the front. It is my kind of vehicle I would definitely have. I just can't get away with the engine what's in them unless it had some kind of super duper warranty. Parking camera, as well as the reverse sensors, and a proper lift up tailgate, so it's not like a van type. Hence the word Transit Custom. You can customise these vans to anything you want. I think that's locked. I'll have to just press the button. And in the back, you've got all this space to use, which is just fantastic, really. Like, no car can trump that. You know, it's the size of like a Berlingo in the back. All nicely caged off from the inside, completely airtight. So no mess, no dust, nothing would come through into the cab, as well as a window. So if you have dogs back here, you can keep an eye on them. And I would assume ventilation as well, or you could fit one. LED lighting, don't know if they're standard or not, but yeah, that is really a usable vehicle, this. And let's just check. Yeah, it's a short wheelbase as well. You always know these. The short wheelbase has a little bit of a wheel arch here. The long wheelbase ones, you have a large section of wheel arch between the door and the back of the wheel arch. It's just the perfect size you want. It's really no longer than a standard large car, really. But that's such a nice big opening. And when you stand back here and when you look, with that up like that, it's huge, it's massive. So when you're here, sorting the kids, the dogs, you've got a huge rain cover. You can stand back here, and it's right back to there. So while you're in the back doing stuff, you're not getting wet. You can sit on the step, you can have your dinner, whatever. Nice low loading space. Really good. I really do think these are a good vehicle. And again, same at the other side. Opening windows as well for ventilation. And there you go. The only downside, I will say, it's got a plus point, but it's got a downside, is I thought it would have made sense to have the 3 seats in the front, so you've got a 6-seater. So realistically speaking, you've got no more seats in a Nissan Micra, and you're trundling around in something this big, kind of a little bit of a downer. But the plus point is you can walk through the back. There's a big gap here. You can walk through the back. So I suppose it's what you want or need it for. But it's got all the gadgets inside. Aircon, heated seats. I like this idea here. You've got a full 3-pin plug to use inverter. It's got all the bells and whistles. I'll just show you what I'm on here. I've done the air filter. It's the Ford one there, carbon. Now, take or leave this advice. Carbon filters are more expensive. They're much denser and thicker, so the air can't pass through them as well, so you don't get as good airflow. But what obviously the carbon does, it neutralises bad smells, odours and stuff that come from outside to inside. Personally, I've tried both, and I don't think it makes any difference. When you're going through, when the farmer's been spreading muck, regardless if you've got a carbon filter or not, the smell still comes through. So I personally prefer the standard type filter. It's less than half the weight, lets a lot more airflow through, still traps the major dust and pollen like what these do. But what I tend to find with these carbon ones, if you leave them in for more than a few years, they go off. I've seen them go mouldy. So personally, if it's me, I always put a standard one in over a carbon, plus they're like half the price as well. So anyways, that's that out. Glove box back, little door there, new one slided in. Just pop that back up in a second when we're done. And that's this one more or less ready. Reset the service light, which is very simple on the Fords, which I've shown you before. Is you just jump in, you put your foot flat to the floor on the throttle and the brake at the same time, and you just switch the ignition on. Sometimes you don't even get a notification, other times you do. And you just leave it. And while that's doing that, I'll just show you around what we've got. So obviously you've got the heated windscreen, the Ford. There's your option, light sensing lights, rain sensing wipers. Lights galore here, which is really nice to see. You've even got them underneath there, another one here, and another one there. Parking sensors, like I've mentioned. Electric windows, electric folding mirrors, limiter, cruise control. It's got everything, like I mentioned, heated seats, the whole lot. So a very nice, well thought out, spec'd out van, I would say. Just a shame that it didn't have a better name for the engine, then it would be probably a vehicle I would definitely consider buying. But I wouldn't take the risk with an Eco Blue, definitely not. Not with AdBlue, not the 2 litre, not the wet belt, no matter how well you look after them. Once they're out of warranty, I don't want to be putting a new engine in. It costs far too much money. So I'll quickly show you this mocker, and I'll leave the vlog here for today. Not a great deal. I think you've seen these before. They're not a bad built car. The usual thing just to watch for is a stone there, you see, trapped in the spring. I'll get that out, that'll have been making a noise. You can see where it's been rubbing. It's actually made a mark on the spring as well, seen that? Wouldn't be surprised if this has been squeaking at the back. So, yeah, so that's this, just getting all the pipes wax oiled. Common faults with these, funnily enough, are them back springs, but I know about that to change. The odd caliper sticks, but these are fantastic calipers because it's one of the very few cars you can physically see into the caliper, no problem whatsoever, to inspect the thickness of the pads. I just don't know why more manufacturers don't do that. It just makes so much sense. Underneath, plastic tank. I think there's a space there for a space saver under the floor, I'm not sure. This is just a non-turbo 1600 petrol. Really good engine. Just in this car, don't expect any kind of speed machine or very good miles to the gallon. But saying that, the 1.4 turbos that they put into them are more powerful, but horrendous for going wrong catastrophically. So you're much better off with this engine. Stick with what you know, that's what I would say. Not a great deal to see under here. Wax oil doors, check the CV, boots, springs, all the rest of it's all fine. Tyres. So yeah, just quickly show you under one of these. Personally, not my cup of tea. I just don't think that, of all of the little mini SUV things, they don't really float my boat, but I'm not really into that kind of thing. But if you just want to suppose a more reliable one, these 1600 ones, the petrol, non-turbo, is definitely the one to go for. Weirdly, this one's a high-spec one. So somebody spec'd the lower engine in a higher spec one, so they must have known what they were doing when they bought it. But yeah, so I'll leave that there today. Like I've mentioned, getting the air conditioning done on the Mercedes. Got a few bits of work to do on my project. I'm waiting to reveal that to you guys. But this stuff, yeah, off subject of cars here. This stuff on pivot hedges, it's got me absolutely ill. It stinks like cat piss. It's bloody awful. This is more close up, but it's all the way along that. It's this stuff here. Any of you guys out there, gardeners? But is this stuff known to be bad for hay fever or just in general for every time I come to work, I cut through that gate in the mornings with the dogs. I can be walking, I walk up there, that's a road, feel perfectly fine. The minute I walk onto here, my chest just closes up like with asthma. And it must be this stuff must be really bad. Either it's just personally on my sufferings, my kind of, what's the word, allergies to hay fever, to that particular tree. But I think that's what you call them, pivot hedge, as I know them. But when they bloom like that, it has me ill every single year. It's not like the hawthorn or anything like that. It's these they're not. I'm sure that's what they're called, pivot hedges. Do any of you guys out there suffer badly with this stuff, or do you have this near where you live or work? It's absolutely horrendous. For the next month, it has me ill at work, this stuff. Not with the sneezing so much, but you feel it on your chest really heavy. It's awful. It must be a very strong pollen that comes off them. So anyways, we'll leave that there. Tomorrow, like I've said, let us know if you want us to add it in. What I might do is add a quick bit in, towing the caravan, and set it up across at White House Farm. I know you've seen it time and time before, but this is my weekly vlog. I'm going back to the same caravan site. That's what I'm doing. I'm not going to do a recording there, because I already have. But like I mentioned the other day when I got the tyre on the Mercedes, that's within me working week. It's car related. I suppose I might add the little bit in when I go to White House Farm tomorrow morning, once the caravan's set up. Quick summary of the week and all the rest of it, and then I'll load up the video, because like I've mentioned, if I don't get it loaded up tomorrow afternoon, I probably won't get it done till next week when I'm back. So I'll catch you tomorrow on Friday's vlog. Well, I just thought I would do a bit of filming at Robinson's Scrapyard. Cracking guys these. Have a little quick look around and I'll show you what I've been looking for. Obviously there's cars galore around here. I'm not going to draw too much attention, but yeah, really nice place around here. Nice guys, always helpful. Can't complain. I mean, look at this old Discovery here. Looks absolutely wrecked inside. Not much left of it. Freelander. We'll have a little look round here. Crawl round. MGTF. Another one, and I believe that's another one up there. Audi, it's an old L Reg, that one. Small Audis, Binnies, as we call them. A Jaguar S-Type down there. That's I can't remember the name of that one. Really old Toyota MR2 up there. And yeah, I'm here because my project that I've got, I need a few bits for it, so I'm here trying to pick some bits up. So yeah, it's coming in handy already having this new vehicle in the fleet. But yeah, I've got all sorts knocking about. Minis and stuff like that. BMs. Insignias. Nice old Peugeot up there. Octavia. So yeah, just thought I would show a quick walk around at the scrapyard. Not very long, short clip. I don't want to get into these guys' face too much when they're working. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you what I'm doing. What you're getting is some wheel nuts, because I'm short of them. But yeah, there's Robinson's scrapyard. Top guys at West Sleepburn. Highly recommend them. Type of guys you can deal with, they speak to you with respect, because I find a lot of these scrapyards you come to and they just treat you like a piece of shit when you come in. They don't talk to you very nice, or very rude and ignorant. Where we're here, they're absolutely spot on, lads. Family run business, just like what own. Highly recommend them if you need any spare parts in the northeast. Catch you soon, bye. Hello and welcome back to Friday's vlog. And as you can see, I'm at the caravan site. Well, I've just done this morning, 8 o'clock this morning. Got up, got sorted, got the caravan brought across and getting it pitched up. I'm going to go back to work now. I think there's a Toyota Hilux in. We'll have a look around that if it's still on the lift, which I don't think it will be. It's in for service and MOT. We'll have a look around it. But for now, I'll just show you. You've probably seen it before. I've been here a few times. Lovely little site. Absolutely lovely view. I mean, obviously, it's not the greatest of days, but do you know what it is? It's been a bit drizzle this morning. Nice and cool. It's been perfect for setting up. Because I don't know if you guys have been watching. There's a amber weather warning out, I think, for Sunday, Monday and Tuesday for extreme heat. And there's nothing worse if any of you guys are into caravanning trying to get set up when it's absolutely boiling hot. Unfortunately, I think it's going to mean I'm going to have to be putting the caravan, packing it up and taking it home and resetting it back up on the drive in the extreme heat. I don't know if this is going to be true for us up north. But yeah, happy days. I'm all set up. I've got all sorts to get done when I get back to work, as well as a few jobs that are in, and I need to pick my son up from school at 3 o'clock. And Fridays, we're go out for dinner. I don't even know if that's going to happen today. I hope so, because it'll be ideal getting a decent meal, because we'll not get round to probably getting a barbecue or something till 7, 8 o'clock tonight when we get back here. So I'll just quickly use around. Yes, it's parked like that because I had to, obviously, to get the caravan angled like this, I had to bring it around like that, drive it down there, with getting it back to the place it was last time. So again, wash the front of the caravan, it was absolutely covered. And I will say one thing, it is astounding when you're driving how many people don't take into consideration when you're towing off of big vehicles. It's just ridiculous. Coming up the roundabouts and people are squeezing in down the side of you, and especially into Morpeth, if anybody of you know. So if you guys aren't into towing or you don't drive big vehicles, if you're behind a big vehicle coming up the roundabout, for instance, and that big vehicle takes up both lanes, they're taking up both lanes for a reason, not just to be awkward. So don't try and if a big vehicle or somebody towing something takes up 2 lanes, just stay behind, give them some room. I can't stand it. It's really annoying when you're coming up the route, especially there's one particular roundabout in Morpeth, you'll all know it's at the bottom of the bank. And once somebody squeezes up the right hand side, you can't turn left because the tail swing, it'll take out the side of somebody's car. And I would imagine that's the same for any large vehicle driving down there, which there will be lots of them, far bigger than my caravan. So yeah, just you guys out there, if you don't tow or drive a big vehicle, just remember those few things, please. I would imagine most of you guys into cars and vehicles watching this, you already know that, you don't need me to tell you. A little bit of a development here, car related. You all see this field, which I've been here before, you've all seen. There's a nice tractor down there. I'm sure Charlie's going to be looking at that later. I've just seen this. If any of you guys are VW fans, a notice for Mighty Dub Fest. It's going to be live music, recorded music, film, blah blah blah, drinking, dancing, all the rest of it, 9th till the 11th of September. So I assume this field is going to be one big area, hence they've got it all mowed for a car show, so I'll be looking forward to that. Yeah, so that'll be a good weekend I'm not keen. I don't think I would want to stay here because there'd be hundreds and hundreds of us coming in and out of here and probably parking everywhere. And hopefully it's managed okay, but I hope there's no like kind of littering and idiotic driving goes on. So I would like to come to see the cars, but I'm not sure if I'd want to camp. Anyways, a few other interesting developments. This thing weighs a ton, and it's been moved from over there to there. But I'm not going to complain because that now means it's sort of on my pitch. So that's kind of ours now. So yeah, I'll show you guys. You've seen it enough time. I've got the outside fridge set up, so that's nice and cool for the night. The one in the caravan actually functions okay when there's no awning on. And we've got all the water and the electric obviously hooked up. It's not properly finished in here. I've got everything shut because I've got the scooter locked in. I've got the microwave, the telly set up, the kids' beds are all set up. Obviously in the bathroom I've got everything still in a semi-storage in here in case I think it's due to rain, so some stuff's been left. So yeah, that was just a quick one. I'll catch you all when I get back to the garage. Right, we're back to work. That's the caravan sorted. I just thought I'd give you a quick walk around this Hilux. It's a 2011 61 plate. Just thought I'd show you these. I mean, like, it's just the fact that everything's built to last on them. I mean, look at the size of the air filter on them. The size of a dustbin lid. Don't need one battery. You need 2 batteries. Then just to even prove more of the fact, these are the original Toyota batteries from 2011. And I think it's got 100,000 mile on. We'll have a look in a minute. But there's the fuel filter on them. Very similar idea to the L200 Series 5. Oil filter on them. Just a little tiny one somewhere down the side of the engine. And these have a timing belt, but they're not a big job whatsoever for anybody who does these regular. They're just nice and easy on there, but it is important to get them done. This will be they do a 3 litre and a 2.4. I'm not 100% which one this is. I think it's the 2.4 on these ones. I'm not sure. I wouldn't don't quote us on that. There's that many different engines get mixed up. But yeah, I mean, really just the usual bits of hazing on the headlamps. We'll go back round and have a look. General grabber AT3s like I had on my L200. The interior on these, you do definitely feel the age of them. Nice, good quality, nothing wrong with them. Just, you do tend to just know that it's not like a newer truck, you know. Into there, the seat covers on the front ones, but it's got a nice enough spec. It's got cruise control, as you can see there. It's got the dual zone? No, single zone climate control, ice cold aircon, automatic this one, which is actually quite nice. And you've got all like your power heat headlamp washers. Yeah, so you see like headlight washers, handy to have, fun fog lights, all that stuff. Just had another job coming. I've got a little C3 diesel to check over, and we've got the Astra we've fitted the wheel bearing hub to. The 2 of the wires had touched and knocked all the wire up, as well as the bearing magnetic ring being gone. So this is like which I didn't even know that they sold, and there's a lot of Astras suffer a similar kind of fault to this. In fact, my partner's car is doing a similar thing at the moment as well. So it might be worth even looking into that. When I take this off, I'm going to have a look, and I'm going to see if it's anything like what's on her car, and this may actually be the issue with it. So yeah, onto here, I'll just show you around the back. AT3 general grabbers, cracking tyres. See you, Malcolm. I think, has it got a camera? No, not a camera. Obviously, you've got your tow bar on these, which is this big bar here. And obviously all this, I'm not going to faff on opening it. But yeah, I'm going to quickly take it up and just show you. This has been coated a few times to see how well it's kept. So here we are. It's always quite daunting standing at these things on a lift. I'm kind of used to it by now. Obviously all the prop shafts and that have been greased up as part of the servicing. And it's just general service rust, but this has been wax oil a few times, but you can see how they still just shed. And the rot still does kick in on these things more than what you really realise. And we obviously keep on top of them when they come in every year, as you can see. But you have got to kind of be careful with them. I would say with these trucks, it's almost a yearly thing. You've got to keep on top of them, you know. You really have. Obviously, they've all been greased. I'm just having a look myself because, you know, I've just been taking the caravan And I must admit, I really did like my L200, but this was one of the reasons that put me off wanting to keep it long term. I'll just swing this round. I did want to keep it, you know, like forever. But the fact is, I knew it would just start, even if you coated them from new, the rot just seems to really, really kick in. Unfortunately, I don't really think these like sort of Japanesey type vehicles are suitable for UK roads. To get anything more than about 15-20 years out of them, and you're starting to need welding and God knows what. It's just a shame they don't use a bit better or thicker grade of steel. Because my Mercedes, believe it or not, what I've just towed the caravan with, yes, the body looks horrendous, I'll admit that, but the chassis on the ML is so much thicker gauge steel than what these trucks are made out of, and that really hasn't rotted whatsoever. You know, you look at all the body mounting points and stuff on them, they are starting to, you know, really shed thick layers off, you know. It's just a shame. Anyways, I was just going to end this here. I'm going to stop this now. I'm going to get the Astra on the lift, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that. And it's a good key. Anybody with an Astra G or an Astra H with ABS faults, speedo faults, and obviously ABS lights coming on, this little wiring harness, and I'm going to take it apart and show you what it is, so I'll catch you soon. Right, so I've got this Astra on the lift, as you can see. What I wanted to show you was this unit here. There's a plug, and it's the main wiring harness that comes down to the ABS sensor. And you remember this one was in the other week getting the hub. The hubs are problematic on these, but it still continued to flicker. And obviously, as you can see, I've disconnected this harness here, and it's been to the auto electricians, and he's tested this wire, and it hasn't got the right continuity. I can't say it. He's done a test, and obviously all the wires look fine, but somewhere within this there's a break in the wire, or it's just kind of over time just degraded. So what you do with this, just make sure you do a few videos just to kind of use as reference to how things go. Because believe it or not, if you just pull this thing off, you will start forgetting where things go. So this is the new one here. Just got to be careful with the plugs that you don't damage them when you take them off. And obviously somewhere within that wire is broken on the old one. So we'll get them swapped over, and we'll have a bit better look at the old one once we've got it off. There we go, there's the old one off. There's nothing to see without doing a continuity test. I can say it that time. That's exactly why you need an auto electrician. We don't get that involved with things. But there we go, there's a new one fitted. The only clip that was broken was this one, and it's all in as it should be, plumbed in. So now, all I need to do is put the scanner on, do a full code scan, reset everything off, take it up the road, and hopefully the ABS, the traction control light will be off, the cruise control will work again. Happy days, and his speed will work. I'm going to look into this for my partner's car, the Astra you've seen. It's very similar faults to this, and I was a bit reluctant to change the bearing on it, because I was thinking it can't work sometimes and not others. If the bearings go, the mechanical units. This one genuinely did. The speedo dropped off altogether. So it's giving us an idea maybe to look into her car. So on that note, that's everything done. I didn't expect this coming in. I think this probably has gone over an hour this week. I hope it hasn't, because it takes an age to upload. Like I mentioned, I'm in the caravan, so there's no way I'm uploading this over 3G, because I'll be on for probably all weekend uploading it. So hope you guys have enjoyed it this week. I'm trying to look back from the beginning of the week till the end. Sorry I didn't really get any car reviews in this week, because there hasn't really been anything massively of interest. I would have been tempted to do this Hilux, but it's just gone for MOT there now, and I want to get this video starting to upload now. And as you know, I've already come in late this morning, so I don't want to take the mickey. I need to crack on and get on with some jobs. What else was that? Yeah, down the scrapyard and stuff. I don't know if I've given away too many clues to the new project, or if I'll be revealing it this weekend. Who knows? If I have, I have. If I haven't, I haven't. So I hope you guys are all going to have a good weekend. Just before on my phone, when we were setting up the caravan, it was raining. My partner, when I walked the sponge, was, it's raining, it's going to be, awkward for setting up. It's no way. I said, champion, said it can rain all it likes and it can be cool all it likes when we're setting up the caravan and when I'm here at work. But there's a red warning, which I've never seen before, ever. I thinking back, last time I seen a red warning was for this Storm Arwen, and that didn't half kick up the arse. So we've got a red weather warning for extreme heat on was it Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, and typically we're leaving on Monday, so that means the whole upheaval of packing up, taking the caravan back home, putting it on the drive, if it really is that hot, the caravan's just getting ditched on the drive and that's it. I'm not even getting into too much. And I may, depending on when it starts warming up properly, get everything packed up on the Sunday night, so that on the Monday, when I'm on my own with 2 dogs and 2 kids, it means I can just kind of get on and say to Olivia and try and keep her out the heat. We've even got a parasol to put up to see if, in case it gets too hot, just for a bit of shade, because there is no shade when you're in a farm and practically on a field. So let us know what you all thought. I'm sorry, I am behind on comments. I will fully admit that. I'm going to try and get a sit down maybe sometime this evening and reply to all you guys. As you'll see, sometimes it's 1 o'clock in the morning, midnight, when I'm sitting there replying. I've had that time lately, but I will get there. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all have a good weekend. Please, if you've enjoyed this, hit the like, leave a message. I will get back to you. I always do. I never ignore anybody. And if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe, and I'll catch you on next week's vlog.